Hey guys, the Dude's Corner here. Today I'm going to be teaching you how to solve the white cross on 3x3. Now lots of you probably with your beginner's method have learned to put all the white edges onto yellow center, and which is the tulip or the daisy case, and then you would put the edges onto white's side. But in this tutorial, I'm going to show you how to just put the white edges immediately onto white center. This saves a lot of time and definitely would recommend you guys using it. At first, it may seem a little hard, but if you just practice it consistently, so like as soon as you solve the white cross, you just scramble it up and keep going. You'll try all kinds of different cases, and then you'll come pretty good at it pretty quick. So it doesn't take too long to learn, just a bit of practice, and then you'll be good. The first thing you're going to want to know is really know where your centers are. And when I mean know where your centers are, you have to know that blue is opposite of green, red's opposite of orange. And where red and orange are. So you know when white's on top, red's going to be on the left of blue, and then orange is going to be on the right of blue. You kind of have to know where all the center placements are, and to make it a little easier when you're inserting your edges. If you don't know where the centers really are that well, go ahead and quickly memorize it as best as you can, because you're definitely going to need to know how to do it. So first off, we have this white red edge, and this is pretty simple. We can just go ahead and insert this into white center, not too hard. Now we also have this orange one, and it's actually already lined up with its center. So we know that it needs to go up here. Now this red white one does not belong here. It belongs over here because orange is opposite of white. So we can just go ahead and rotate that twice, and then we can rotate this edge up on top. Now we have this blue and white one that we can line underneath. Now you should know this kind of case from the tulip or daisy case that you learned in beginner's method, and you're just gonna rotate it twice. And then this edge here sometimes can get a little difficult, but what you're gonna do, most people will think to line it up underneath the green center, but because white is facing out and not on bottom, you're going to rotate it toward one of the centers away from green, and then you're going to rotate the front so that way it lines up here. Now I know this does knock a edge piece out, but that's okay. Then you can bring this one up and then this one in just like that. And there you go, you've completed the cross. Now I'm going to show you a few more examples because there is a lot of cases that you can have. But one tip that you should know is that any cross case can be solved with 8 moves or less. Now I realize lots of those cases can get very hard. I also realize that this wasn't 8 moves for me when I was doing it, but I do know that in any situation you can solve it in 8 moves or less. So try figuring it out as best as you can. It can get a little crazy. Now let's take a look at this case right here. As you can tell, we already have one edge right here. We have 2 more edges here, and then 1 more edge right here. Now this is when it is very, very useful to learn where all of your centers are, because in this case it can get a little crazy. So we have this orange edge that can line up with this center here, and then we also have this green one that can automatically line up here. And the problem is also that we have this red one here, and we want to keep this up here and have it underneath its slot. Now the thing is if we just go ahead and align this edge up with its center, this edge is going to be a little more difficult to get in as well as this one. And mainly because they're flipped and they're put in their right spot. So say we keep it here. What we can do is we can bring this orange one here, so it's already lined up, and then this one here. Now this does rotate the blue one up, but just ignore that. Now, the thing is we might think, okay, let's go ahead and bring this one and this one up, but the thing is this red one is not where it belongs. So let's go ahead and line up the red one to where it belongs, which is right here. Then we can rotate these 2 edges up. Now, one other thing that sometimes people will think is, okay, let's go ahead and bring this green one up, but that's gonna bring this orange one out. So if we do the orange one first, like this, and then do the green one, this saves a lot of moves. And then we have this blue one here. It needs to go into here, so what we can do is we can rotate the top twice and then insert the blue and then turn the top twice back. And as you can see, we have solved the cross. Now let's take a look at this case. This case can be very interesting. We have this center already lined up and solved. this one needs to go over to here, and this orange one needs to go up here, and this blue one needs to go over here. This case can look a little strange. The question is how are we going to solve it? Because we already have one in, and then we have another one in that does not belong here. Well, there's a few ways that we can do this. I know lots of the ways that actually I would do it, lots of other cubers wouldn't do, so I'm not going to teach it that way. So let's go ahead and bring this. We want to bring this orange one up to here. Generally what people would do is they would just bring it up like this, which is fine. We can do it like that. And then we can rotate this blue one up into here. But here's the thing. These two are opposite of each other. Now how are we going to fix this? Because we don't want them opposite of each other. Well, there is an easy algorithm that you can do to fix this. And this algorithm would be M2, U2, M2. And just that swaps them. Now, just to remember, you got to have them cross from each other, not up and down from each other, So from here and here, not here and here. And these two will swap. And there you go. That's how another way you can solve the cross. Another case that can commonly happen is when you've already completed the cross, but these two edges need to swap. Now this comes up every now and then if you've accidentally messed up the cross. And what you're going to want to do to fix this is you're going to want to insert this into here and then insert this one into here. So we can rotate this edge down, rotate the top, that way this slot is where we're reinserting. So like that. Rotate the top back and then bring this edge back up just like that. And then we've completed the cross. Now this is a little bit more of an advanced case that you might have to deal with, but I'll go ahead and show you how I would solve it. The problem is about cases like this, you probably won't recognize solving it like this, and that's okay. If you can learn on your own, figuring out cross cases and just putting all the white edges on top on your own without, having to get 8 moves and less, as long as if you get the edges, that's fine because you're just learning how to do this. You don't need to do any of the crazy advanced stuff, but I still thought I would show you one case. Now we have this edge here that needs to go over here, this edge that needs to go over here, this edge that needs to go here, and this one that needs to go here. All of these are flipped in one wrong way or another. Now how are we going to solve this? Well, what I would do is I would bring this down. That way it's lined up with the center. Now this one we might as well go ahead and line up with its center over here. So that way I notice that I have 2 pairs already done. Now this edge we can already go ahead and bring up, and then we can line it up underneath, not underneath, but where its center is, so back here. Then we have these two, and we can go ahead and bring this one up first, because if we bring this one up first, its blue edge will be over here, and we don't want this edge over here. We want it to be lined up with its center. So we'll insert it up first, then we'll bring this edge up. Then we have this last one here, and its center is over here, so what we can do is we could just rotate the cross out of the way, bring this up, and then turn the top back, and we have solved our white cross. So once again, this is a little bit more of an advanced case, and it gets kind of hard to recognize which edges you should go first, but just practice the simple stuff, and then you'll be good. If you can't understand what the advanced is from the not advanced stuff, if you're having trouble solving that case, it's advanced. Now we can have a case like this. How we have one edge already solved, this one and this one are where they belong, just flipped, and then this one that needs to go easily inserted. So first thing that I would do is just go ahead and insert this edge, because that's pretty simple. Now we have these two that don't belong here. Well, they do belong here, they're just not correctly twisted. So what we can do is we can rotate this one out like this, but we can also rotate this one out over here like this. The reason why we can do this is because when we turn the top and insert these edges in, we put them both in at the same time, and then we can turn the top back and solve the cross. So this is sometimes that can happen, having the 2 edges flipped on the cross. It doesn't happen very often, but this is just an easy way for fixing that case. Now this case here is for particularly order. Now what I mean by this is which edge pieces you should put in first. Now there is a way you can solve this cross using only 5 moves. And the thing is you gotta know which ones you do first. So generally people might think, okay, this is already lined up here, so we can just go ahead and insert it. But then you have these edges all the way over here, which could get a little crazy with inserting. So what you can do is you got to know which edges you should put in first. Now I can line this edge up into here. I could also line this edge up into here, or I could go ahead and insert this one. Well, what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually go ahead and line this one up, and then I can go ahead and line this one up, and then I can insert this one first, because if I insert this one, this edge will come over to here. So do that. Then I insert this one, and then the last edge, which is here. And in 5 moves, you can easily solve it, the cross. So generally, you'll have to figure out which ones you should do first to save moves, because you don't want to just use pointless moves when there's faster ways of doing it. It can get a little crazy recognizing what you should do first, but just kind of take it slow. I would definitely recommend not timing yourself when you're doing this. Just kind of sit down and just figure it out, take your time, and solve the cross as however much time you need. Alright guys, so that's pretty much it for this video. That is how you solve the white cross on 3x3. Now I am sure you probably could already guess that I am doing a CFOP tutorial. I'm going to post each part one time each week, and then I'll post the final result of the entire video, which will be one long tutorial, but be on the lookout for when that comes out. And yeah, so let me know if this video was helpful. And if it was, be sure to hit that like button down below. And be sure to hit that subscribe button as well as those bell notifications to be notified when the upcoming tutorials for the CFOP method comes out. And when F2L, OLL, and PLL are out, you can always hit the link down below in the description to find the tutorials for those. So thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you all in my next video.